you out there actually are hip or aware of what happens to sex offenders when they go into prison. But generally what happens is they get killed because it's a part of the so-called convict code that prevents inmates from bunking up, selling up with a pedophile, and it's a part of inmate etiquette to essentially publicly out sexual offenders, child abusers, so that they can be killed. So prisons go out of their way to protect, pedophiles, child molesters, and even people who rape women, because all of the above are marked for death. Even people who rape adult women. So prisons go out of their way to protect these people. They place them in certain prisons, sensitive needs yards, protective custody prisons. But sometimes what they do is they'll exclude that particular charge on their paperwork, because in prison your paperwork is called your driver's license, and people check your driver's license to make sure that it's not suspended or So you show your paperwork, that's your driver's license. So sometimes you get pulled over by another inmate who requests to see your license. And, a lot of times when it comes to sex offenders, they modify their paperwork to make it look like they got caught for drugs or something. Sometimes the inmates will call out to the streets and get somebody to go through the sex offender registry and find that person, then they get killed anyway. So let's listen to this guy, Rick, and what happened when he encountered a sex offender in his cell.
It's time for you to fight for your life, and he said, what? And I said, get off your bunk right now. And he starts getting off real slow, he's like thinking, man, he's joking or something, and I said, get off your bunk. And he started getting off, as soon as he got down, I just came walking towards him, man. He knew it was over, I just went right for his throat, first thing, man, I'm taking that dude's wing. My first hit was right in his throat, and I could feel everything popping him. I just felt that whole bones just, basically just disintegrate into him, so I just kept hitting him.
Oh, yeah. By the way, this footage comes from Tony. Stories written by a current prisoner or isolated minds.
I could not stop, man. My whole anger, all my anger, for all the kids, because of what happened to me, all the kids, everything just was built up right there. And I just kept punching him right there, Tony. I couldn't stop, man. I was like in this, and I wasn't even, it's like I was in this weird, I wasn't even me. I was like out of my body, man. I already just was, focused on that throat, and he was already, how when people are like fighting for air, man, they go crazy. Well, that's how he was, he started going crazy, and he started getting really strong, man. So I just really started.
Oh, and by the way, this guy actually was about to get out of prison soon, but he murdered his cellmate, who turned out to be a pedophile, and that, put him on, I think, death row. And now he's actually going to serve the rest of his life in prison.
For lying to me about what he was in here for.
I have 60 seconds remaining.
That was my last, little say goodbye, because I could not let that guy go back out there, I heard the pop when his throat went, his cartilage, I heard it pop, so I knew he was done. So I grabbed him and I pulled him over and I put him on his bed and I laid him right there, and then I just said, goodbye, Randy. That was it. I already knew he was done. So, and then after that, I started cleaning up my mess, and, it was kind of, in my mind, it was a little chaotic, but I seemed to be in focus right now because I already knew that it was over, and now I was on cleanup mode. So I made a cup of coffee. I started trying to relax, man, and, that was about about 9:15. It was like after the last count. So, in my mind, I was already figuring out that, it was done for me. So I went and drank a cup of coffee and I kind of relaxed. And I kept going right to the window and making sure that nobody was tripping, nobody was looking at me, And as far as I knew, nobody was looking. But I found out later on that somebody was looking at me on the upper stairs.
And everybody in the comment section seems to agree with his decision. Everybody is saying that, hey, this guy's a hero for killing this child molester. But the thing about it is this really the best, course of action? If you're actually about to go home in a couple of months, is it wise to kill a child molester and then end up staying in prison for the rest of your life once you get convicted of murder? Or are your values and principles and your dedication to the convict code is that strong that you're willing to sacrifice your life so that this person won't go back out into society and do whatever he's going to do again? Because people in society don't do that. These guys, they only do this in prison. When these guys are free, they don't go around looking for pedophiles to kill. Because basically, there's a sex offender registry in everybody's city. You can go in there and it gives the address, the work address, home address of every single sex offender. So and they're not getting killed. They're only getting killed in prison. So it's just weird. The whole thing is just like, okay, so you guys are killing these people in prison, but you're not killing them in society. And you're willing to give up your life and do the rest of your life in prison after you get convicted of their murder. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting, dynamic. Peace.